for another update. Let's take a look at XRP today. And XRP going back to 2018 was just within a huge triangle pattern. This was just a huge wave 4 correction. If we go all the way back to June 2014, this was just a wave 1. Came down for your wave 2 before we had an explosive wave 3 to the upside. And for over 2,300 days, we've just been within this huge pennant consisting of all threes. So within this pennant, all of the subwaves are going to subdivide into 3. You guys see this? This was your March 2020 COVID dump. This was your leading diagonal to the upside, your swift ABC down for your B wave, and then another 5-wave move up for your C wave of your B. Then over here is another ABC correction, another ABC correction up for your D, and then another one for your E. Now we finally have gotten into the wave 5 of 5. We've just been consolidating here within this wave 4. Before we come up for this wave 5, there is going to be a lot of chop within this region. As you guys can see, we have come down to the 78.6% fib. So we may see a dump going into next week, but it's likely to be a wave 2 on the small time frame before we come up for a wave 3 to the upside. This looks like a leading diagonal when we shuffle down in the small time frame. Right? This is your wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a leading diagonal formation. Then we come down for an ABC correction for your wave 2, find some support. This is likely a bear trap before we have a move higher. And looking at this from a structural point of view, we could see that this may even form a little bit of an inverted head and shoulders. Taking a look here on the daily time frame, this clearly looks like a bearish head and shoulders pattern. But when things are the most clear in the market, what usually happens? Usually the opposite happens. Everyone from what I've seen has been calling for a bearish head and shoulders breakdown. But in my opinion, I think this is just, we're just likely to see chop before a continuation higher. This is what you tend to see in the middle of runs. So XRP has been within a secular bull market. Within its secular bull market, all it was doing was just reaccumulation, sideways for over 100 days before we have that last push to the upside. Within this sideways accumulation, we have a head and shoulders forming where everyone, the herd, thinks we're going to break down from. But in my opinion, we'll just see, in my opinion and in my expertise from what I've seen in the market, is that you're likely to just see chop around here before we grind up. Invalidation would be to see a daily close below $1.92, and then if we do that, then we would just come down to the 618 at $1.58, $1.60 region. But now our first point of interest has been hit actually from our last chart. So let me just pull that chart up here. Let me just pull that chart up. Okay, so as you guys can see, so from the last video that I made for you guys on XRP, we did come up to our first point of interest here, and we already see a rejection. So I gave you guys that idea back when XRP was around 213, 214. We went up by about 14%. Now we're seeing the decline. You see, I already drew this arrow here. We're going to come down to these fibs over here for a retracement, likely a subwave 2 before we come up to take out this internal range liquidity, with our draw on liquidity being this 4-hour fair value gap. You see this 4-hour gap here? It's that same gap is present on the hourly as well. So that would be around 269 to 276, which would coincidentally be the 786 on the linear scale. Okay, so we see a retrace here, or we continue on higher. But either way, I think that this inefficiency gets hit at around 269 to 276. As soon as you get above this level over here, this inefficiency, then we can for sure say that this is our bottom. Don't forget that this is the exact same structure that Jasmy was in before it bottomed out and had expansion out of its reaccumulation range. Let's go ahead and dive into that right now. As you guys can see, we'll go over this again. You had your ABC down, right, on both coins. This was your ABC on XRP, and this was your ABC on Jasmy. Then you have two highs. These were your two highs. Then you have a move down to sweep your internal range. Move down to sweep your internal range. Move back up to take out these equal highs. Move back up to take out your equal highs. And then a flush back down to make one slight lower low. And then this is your flush back down to make one slight lower low before we grind our way to the upside. But in doing so, we come up about midway, maybe about 70.2 to 78.6% of the way on Jasmy, and then we go into another reaccumulation schematic before we see continuation. So when we look at that and we translate that to XRP's price action, this is likely where we would see that consolidation. It's either up here or it's either up here. But either way, wherever it is, we're likely to see continuation higher out of this 100-day long range. You see, we've been within this range for 100 days. So this is XRP. No need to worry on XRP. Looks really good, bullish. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to let me know. And if you guys want to stay updated with XRP along with over 300 assets, then click the link in the description below to join the Discord. Peace out and take it easy. See you in the next one.